There's a lot of talk about individual OKRs on the internet. Some companies that have adopted OKR are discussing whether or not to go down to the individual level. You can ignore all these discussions because individual OKRs just aren't a thing. I'll explain why. There are two types of objectives: those that provide direction and those that need to be executed. Directional objectives put a dot on the horizon so that everyone understands where to go. These objectives have a time span of at least 1 year. If they were shorter term, like quarterly, the ride will be too erratic. Try to ride a bike while looking only 2 meters ahead of you, and you'll understand what I mean. Your mission and vision, your 3 to 5 year strategic objectives, as well as your annual objectives for 2020, these are all directional objectives. No one works on them directly. Their aim is just to provide direction to the organization. Because of this, people often call these company OKRs, or OKRs on the company level. Executable objectives should be aligned with your directional objectives. They push you in the right direction. They drive the progress on your directional objectives. These are the objectives that people in your organization will actually be working on. Because people need to work on them directly, they must be short-term, for example, quarterly. If they were longer than a quarter, you'd be making it unnecessarily hard for your people to work on them. For example, a 5-year strategic objective doesn't really help you decide what to focus on today or this week. People often refer to executable OKRs as team or individual OKRs. Once you've figured out what the right executable objectives to focus on are, you need to be sure that everything is being done to achieve them. To guarantee this, you need to do 2 simple things. 1. Make someone responsible, that is, assign a lead. And 2. Keep that person accountable. For example, regularly review progress in a one-on-one. Only one person can be responsible. As the saying goes, if multiple people are responsible, no one is. When multiple people are responsible, things become chaotic. In other words, there can only be one lead for an objective. Even though there can only be one lead for an objective, that doesn't mean that the lead is the only person working on it. In most cases, the lead will need the help of several others to complete initiatives that will hopefully drive progress for the OKR. The people that work on those initiatives are called the contributors. It can happen, of course, that one person can achieve the OKR all by him or herself. This happens often in smaller organizations. If it happens in larger organizations, then it can only have 2 causes. 1, the organization is using OKR for people performance management, which is a terrible mistake. OKR is about the organization, not about an individual employee. Or 2, the OKRs are tasks and/or so small in scope that every employee ends up leading 1 to 3. This creates a huge and unnecessary administrative burden, and is also why Spotify and many others abandoned them. Contributors are your most important asset. These are the people that actually put in all the work to achieve an OKR. A group of contributors will naturally form itself around an OKR. The OKR itself will make it clear who is needed to achieve it. When your contributors all come from one team, you have a functional OKR. When contributors come from different teams, the OKR can be called cross-functional. Hi. At Purdue, our commitment has always been to help organizations become successful with OKR, which is why we offer our content for free. Now we've decided to go one step further and make our software free as well. Our free plan includes all core functionality and allows you to add an unlimited number of users and track an unlimited amount of goals. Head over to purdue.com to set up your own free Purdue account.